Hi, my name is Jade Starr and I play gender optimized rock, and this is my artist profile on Studio Live today. My music origin story began listening to Iron Maiden. That led me to get an electric guitar and thrash around the backyard with it not plugged in. That led me to join my first band when I was about 15 years old, called At Random. We were kind of like Metallica kind of stuff. From there I joined a crazy kind of jazz funk fusion band called Despised, and we played around for, about 5 years as a vocalist, not really a guitarist. From there I kept learning guitar and improving, and I played in a school band and was pretty successful doing that, and went on from there. We were called the Lost Seamen. Went on and played gigs after we finished year 12 at school. From there on, I've played in a whole bunch of different death metal bands and such. My musical style, what I'm into, is very varied, you could say. Then in 2003, I transitioned from male to female, and then I restarted my music career as Jade Starr Dread Circus. And I still play in a few different kind of bands, Utensils, FMC, and Dread Circus primarily. But so I'm still playing today, still doing shows, and still recording in my home recording studio. And music is everything to me. I define my music as gender optimized rock. I'm transgender. I don't really like the term, so I invented my own category, I guess. I listen to many different styles. You could say I'm very eclectic. I listen to anything from like jazz, fusion, to rock, to death metal, to punk, whatever. Sometimes I like to infuse it all into one song. Other times maybe just acoustic ballads, that kind of stuff, rock stuff. But I still play death metal as well. So I like artists like Counting Crows, Björk, Carcass, Slayer, Mr. Bungle, my favorite band, Faith No More. Who else? Frank Zappa. Anyone totally out there, Ben Folds 5. Just people who are really original and have their own flavor. So that's the stuff I'm into. That's what floats my boat. So I guess it all comes out as a soup of stuff that I'm really into. And that is my musical style, gender optimized rock. I record all of my music in my home studio through my iPad Pro. I have a studio with a few iPads, a couple of audio interfaces, and my own electronic drum kit. I've got about 6 guitars. I've built my own vocal booth. I do it all in my home studio. I don't really use a laptop to record. I feel like iOS devices are the future, and I prefer using them. They have the power of a laptop. I prefer touching glass or using a pencil to do that kind of stuff. I just love that whole organic feeling, and that I can take it with me wherever I go. I'm currently recording an album that's taken like 7 years so far using iOS. And I've been able to record that album, like, you name it. That's where I've been recording it. On a beach, on an airplane, while I was in America. In hospital, I've even done tracks. So the album I'm working on has been done virtually anywhere you can think of, in a car, because iOS is so portable, and it makes me happy using it. It works for me. But, people should do whatever they want to do that makes them happy. That's a really hard one to put my finger on, because there's so many different things that I've had the privilege to do in my musical career. I could say performing at Mardi Gras Fair Day in front of 70,000 people was a highlight. But at the same time, I'm not connecting one-on-one with people that I love to do on my live shows. So I have to say more of the smaller performances where I'm really close to people. I've done a lot of shows where I tell stories about my life and play acoustic songs in between. I've done a lot of comedy drag stuff and stand-up comedy. I played the Comedy Festival in Melbourne. So I've done that as well. That was pretty cool, for a month doing shows every night at the Comedy Festival. Performed in America. That was really cool as well. Done a few shows in America. That was amazing. Played in Chicago and Minneapolis. releasing music is always really cool. So that's a highlight. There's so many highlights. Just to be able to keep creating music all the time. And I use music to heal myself. And then once I release it, hopefully it can reach somebody to maybe help them through something that they may be going through. So that's the most important thing. So it's the small things in music that mean the most to me. Probably the most, most important thing is a song that I wrote called Do What Makes You Happy. I got an email from a person who heard that song, and it really changed their life and helped them to stay around with us today. And they wrote to me personally, and I'll never forget that. It's one of the most beautiful things I've been able to do with music, to be able to reach somebody and make sure they're still here with us today. You can't describe how amazing that is to be able to do with music. So I'd have to say that. My best advice for somebody starting out making music is just to do it. And do it with whatever you have laying around, whatever instruments, whatever recording gear you have, whatever kind of computer or device or phone. Just do it. Just put it out there. You will make mistakes. You'll make plenty of them. And that's okay. You're meant to make mistakes. That's the way you get better. Don't be afraid of software being looking too complicated. Dive into it. Stuff around with it. Mess around. Make mistakes. All of that kind of stuff. And when you finish, put it out there. Release it. Let it go, because you're only as good as your last song, as they say. And you'll always look back on each thing that you release out into the world as not being as good as what you wanted. But that's a natural thing that happens, because the next thing will be better because you'll learn from it. So just don't be afraid, and don't be afraid of criticism or anything like that, because there are fantastic groups of musicians out there, like the Facebook users, GarageBand users group on Facebook, who, there's a fantastic support network where you get quality feedback and things like that. So just go for it. Just get it out of your system. You'll feel better for it, definitely. Make music. Do the things that make you happy. That is all I can really say.